are you actually revising at the moment?
At the moment, so called, I'm doing around right now. This week I was going through with my class for the last 7 juz from Rubi Yasin, from Yasin to Nas, in 1 week, just like full on as hard as we can, revision from the whole entire thing. So right now I've got nearly more than halfway there. So that's what we're doing, focusing on now. And then other than that, I normally do around maybe 30 to 15 pages to 20 pages a day of revision.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. And I understand your Quran school is in a very special place. Where do you do your Quran? Hello, Laith, can you hear us?
And yes, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I do it in Makkah, alhamdulillah, in Saudi Arabia, and in one of probably one of the most successful establishments, which they've only also made masjids around most of Saudi Arabia, which is the Jami' al-Rajihi. They have separate section for Quran, and lots of people have come out of there very well.
Okay.
Seem to be losing Laith.
Yeah, we just.
Laith, can I give you a suggestion? Are you able to just switch your camera off? As good as looking as you are, mashallah, it might just improve your Wi-Fi connection. Let's try that. Oh no, what sort of picture do you have there? Astaghfirullah.
Okay.
Let's put the camera back on. No, let's leave it off, inshallah. Can you hear us okay, Laith?
So, Laith, can you hear us? Laith, can you hear us?
One second. Yeah, it's just lagging. I'll be back in a second.
Okay. Cool. So, Laith, you're going to recite for us from verse 1 to 9, Surah Al-Isra. And Ustad Akhtar, you're going to have a visual prompt for the listeners so they can follow as we're going. So, Laith, are you ready?
Let me just unmute Laith and just make sure he can hear us. I think he's trying to fix his Wi-Fi a little bit. Just whilst he's doing that, we'll put it on the screen for everybody. You can get your mushafs, your Qur'ans out, inshallah, as well, to see the verses and make it available so you can all follow as well, inshallah.
Okay, is it better? You can hear me properly?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى التي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير. وآتينا موسى الكتاب وجعلناه هدى لبني إسرائيل ألا تتخذوا من دوني وكيلا ذرية من حملنا مع نوح إنه كان عبدا شكورا. وقضينا إلى بني إسرائيل في الكتاب لتفسدن في الأرض مرتين ولتعلن علوا كبيرا. فإذا جاء وعد أولاهما بعثنا عليكم عبادا لنا أولي بأس شديد فجاسوا خلال الديار وكان وعدا مفعولا. ثم رددنا لكم الكرة عليهم وأمددناكم بأموال وبنين وجعلناكم أكثر نفيرا إن أحسنتم أحسنتم لأنفسكم وإن أسأتم
I think we might have lost Nath. So how can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Ustad. How are you doing?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. I think we might have lost Lath's recitation. Mashallah, he was doing amazingly well. And then we lost his connection, which is sometimes happens at these times.
Okay, no problem. Lath, can you hear me?
I think he's gone now. He's dropped off the call because of his connection.
Okay, fair enough. No problem, Ustad Akhtar. These things happen. So we'll continue, inshallah. So we're going to continue speaking about Masjid Al-Aqsa. And what we want to do today is to have an actual virtual tour of Masjid Al-Aqsa and to show some of the amazing scenes from Masjid Al-Aqsa also. So Ustad Akhtar, are you ready for that?
I am. What would you like, your PowerPoint, or you're going to share your screen? Which will you do first?
I think I'll share my screen first.
All right, brace yourselves, everybody. Let's hope this works.
Okay, Bismillah.
Oh, there's a screen which says, "Welcome to Outlook 2016."
Okay. Now, can you see the Dome of the Rock there?
We can.
Okay, so Bismillah, let's start. Okay, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah, Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at a virtual look at some parts of Masjid Al-Aqsa, and we're going to try and get a kind of real life experience as if we're almost there, seeing the different parts of the masjid. So Ustad Akhtar, can you see the steps leading to Qubbat al-Sakhra?
We can, amazing.
Okay, so I want you to imagine if you're kind of there, yeah, and that we're engaged in this kind of journey. So we've started at the bottom of the steps, and now we're gonna go up the steps to Qubbat al-Sakhra, which is here. We can see some lovely people around outside. We can see they're chilling out on the courtyard. The actual Qubbat al-Sakhra, it's on a kind of raised platform. I did mention that Masjid Al-Aqsa is actually situated on the old city of Jerusalem, which is kind of on a hill. So this is kind of like the highest point where the Qubbat al-Sakhra, the Dome of the Rock, is. So I think we're going to go inside, because I think we've all seen it from outside, but how many people know what it looks like inside? So let's go inside. Okay, there it is. So those are the prayer mats where people pray. It's still used as a functioning part of the masjid. That's where people will stand for Jum'ah Salah. Now, this area where there's white sheeting, that's actually because there's some renovation going on, and you can see the kind of scaffolding there and the steel pipes. But that's actually where the actual rock is. The famous rock where it said the Prophet ﷺ ascended to Jannah on that rock, or from that rock. Also in Judaism, it's a very sacred place. They say that's where Ishaq alayhi salam was slaughtered. Now, you can't see at the moment because of the scaffolding, but what we're going to do, we're going to go inside the kind of inner chamber and go downstairs so we can see from the underside of the rock. Okay, so there we are. That goes out. That should take us inside. There we go. So if you follow the staircase down, there, if you come down those staircases, you're now actually under the actual rock. So this is the rock, the famous rock. It's very sacred. And there is a little bit of room for you to pray underneath. So you can see there's a space for one person to pray there, and there's a handful of people who can pray along there. So you can imagine how packed out this place becomes, where somebody wants to actually pray underneath the sacred rock, Qubbatu Sakhra. So that is the Dome of the Rock building. I've managed to go there, and I hope some of you have, and in the future will try and go there. But this is a very, very ancient place. You might remember Layan speaking yesterday how it feels like, you know, it's a very old and ancient and special place. And you get that feeling even before you reach the masjid, but especially when you're in places like this, where the rocks are thousands of years old, and they're very accessible as well. People can touch them, people can see them. And this is actual place, a functioning mosque where people pray. Okay, so let's move on. We've explored the Dome of the Rock. Let's now go to Masjid Al-Aqsa, the Qibli Masjid itself. Now, Ustad Akhtar, can you now see those green doors?
We can.
So now, if you walk away from the Dome of the Rock and head southwards towards Masjid Qibli, you'll come to the main entrance, which are these big green doors. Now, Ustad Akhtar, can you see that those doors, they look a little bit old and damaged? Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. This is unfortunately where the Israeli Defense Force, the IDF, they sometimes do storm the masjid. And the worshippers inside, what they try and do is protect the masjid by closing these green doors and barricading themselves in. But you'll see they still get damaged. And unfortunately, you still get soldiers who will come in and kind of let off firecrackers and smoke grenades. But the people here are very brave, and they do try and protect this masjid, not just for themselves as Palestinians, but also for the rest of the Muslim Ummah, that they can keep on coming here, visiting here and worshipping here. So let's go into the main masjid and check that out. So here's the main masjid. This is Masjid Qibli. This would be the direction where all the Muslims used to pray towards for the first 13 years and 16 months of the life of the Prophet ﷺ. So this is the main masjid. It's quite large, beautiful masjid. Had the pleasure of praying here. And it's kind of different from Mecca and Medina. From Mecca and Medina, it kind of would be impossible to get near the front. But this masjid, it's very accessible. So this is the main mihrab. This is where the Imam will stand for prayer. And this is the minbar where the khatib, when the Jummah khutbah is delivered, he will stand and deliver the khutbah. Let's move that out of the way. So that little kind of glass entrance, that might be used for certain special dignitaries. But if you ask nicely, the Imam who'll be standing here, they might actually let you pray inside there. So the Imam will climb up to here and he'll give the khutbah from this high position. That's different to masjids in London, unless you prayed in East London Mosque, where they have actually a raised platform for the Imam. Normally, the Imam will be standing in our mosques at the same level as all the people praying. But in the very large masjids, especially those that were influenced by Ottoman architecture, so Jerusalem was, of course, part of the Ottoman Empire, you'll see these very large decorative mimbers where the Imam will climb up to the top and he'll give the khutbah. So everyone around the masjid can see him. Okay, we can see a couple of old dudes there just chilling out and waiting for the salah, it looks like. So this is Masjid Al-Qibli. Now, there is an ancient part of that mosque which you can also visit, and you have to go through the side entrance. And this is really the oldest section of Masjid Al-Aqsa. So this one I really want to show you carefully. So if you look here, it's got some new green carpets. They look a little bit like the carpets you'll find in the Rawda. But this is the oldest part of the masjid. You can see the very old stone walls. That's not decoration. That's the actual kind of ancient stone walls. Now, this bit is very interesting. These are very large pillars, okay? Very large pillars which support the oldest section of the masjid. Now, this dates back thousands of years. So can you, Ustad Akhtar, can you see those pillars?
We can, yes.
Now, I wonder if the young people can use their general knowledge and think back to the time, think back to yesterday. What time period do you think those old large pillars date back to? We can never know for sure, because after the Prophet ﷺ, the science of hadith and recording things meticulously and verifying information, that really came about after the time of the Prophet ﷺ. So anything before the Prophet ﷺ, we have to rely on Judeo-Christian sources, and there is always maybe a small level of uncertainty. But what time period and which prophet do you think these stone pillars date back to? Ustad Akhtar, can you just read out some of the answers?
Yeah, I certainly can. So let's have a look at some of the answers. So Hamid says, is it the Umayyads? Ismail says the
no, well
Abbasids.
before the Umayyads, well before the Abbasids.
Okay, and then we got Khadija and Amina saying Sulaiman alayhi salam.
Excellent, Sulaiman alayhi salam. So it is
Rumaysa saying Dawood alayhi salam.
So Dawood alayhi salam started the construction of the masjid, but the main construction of the masjid was completed in the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam. And there is kind of an indication of this in the Quran, when Sulaiman alayhi salam is described as having jinn that were working for him as deep sea divers, as coral deep sea divers, as miners, and as builders. So the reason some historians say these pillars date back to Sulaiman alayhi salam is that they're too huge. We can only see actually a part of it. They're too huge to be able to have been erected by the architecture of that time. So some of them say it dates back to Sulaiman alayhi salam. So that's a very interesting fact, which the tour guides, if they take you around, they may tell you about that. Okay, let's move on. So we've explored the Dome of the Rock, we've explored the Qibli Masjid, we've explored the oldest part of the mosque. Finally, we're going to explore this building. Now, anybody want to take it? I was going to ask anyone who want to guess, but it's got it there in big writing, isn't it, Ustad Akhtar? I can't ask that question. So that's in the kind of southwest corner of the Al-Aqsa compound, and that is known as the Masjid Marwan. Now, before the time of Umar ibn al-Khattab, when he was given the keys to Jerusalem, does anybody know what this building was used for? I kind of mentioned it in passing. You can either use the chat facility or you can unmute yourself. Anybody know what this building was used for?
Let's have a listen to what Jazib thinks first of all, or if you want to.
As stables.
Excellent, first time round, yeah. So the Roman soldiers used to use it as stables, and we'll see why when we go inside. It is absolutely huge. It's like an underground basement building, and you might even be able to see why they used it as stables. It's very large. It's got the different areas where they could store their war horses. Obviously, it's been renovated now, and it is used as a place, an extension to the masjid, but mainly used for ihtikaf. So when Muslims from all over the world come in Ramadan, they are not always given access. So, some people, when they go for Ramadan, they don't actually make it to Masjid Al-Aqsa. They might be stopped at the airport. They might be actually, put into a kind of detention center for a day or two, and then sent back to the country they came from. But subhanAllah, that's a small sacrifice for us to make compared to the kind of sacrifices that people in Palestine, the Muslims in Palestine, are making, and actually some of the Christians in Palestine, the sacrifices they're making for their places of worship. And we'll speak a little bit more about that when we look at the PowerPoint. So this is Masjid Marwan, and that is where the people will be making i'tikaf. So that gives us a brief kind of glimpse at some parts of the masjid, some of the main parts of the masjid. Of course, we haven't seen the Buraq wall, and we haven't also explored some other parts of the masjid, but these are, I would say, three of the main parts of the masjid. So Ustad Akhtar, are we ready to now go back to the PowerPoint?
We certainly are. If let me share my screen with everybody for the PowerPoint presentation. I'll get that up. Here we go. Share screens.
Yep, so if we can go to slide number 2. Yeah. So can everyone see that okay? Yeah.
I think Abu Bakr has his hand up. Can we just see what question he has? Or maybe it's from before.
Abu Bakr.
Maybe it was from before. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay. So why is Jerusalem so important? This is a lovely night sky kind of picture of Jerusalem. It shows us the Qubbat al-Sakhra, the Dome of the Rock, and underneath it, the very high wall, which you can see there. Anybody know and remember from yesterday what that wall is called? There are some Jewish people down there. They're performing their acts of worship. Anybody know? So Hannah has her real hand up.
Let me see if I can find Hannah. Here you go, Hannah. Accept the prompt to unmute.
Wailing Wall.
Yeah, its actual correct name is the Western Wall, but it's also known as the Wailing Wall because you'll find Jewish people, this is their most sacred site, and they'll be rocking backwards and forwards, performing prayers, and sometimes they would write those prayers and put it inside the brickwork, which is on that wall over there. Okay, so this is a very sacred place for Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. So let's move on. So it has Masjid Al-Aqsa, which is that very large compound, which you can see. It's like one of those medieval fortresses with the high walls. In the olden days, in the medieval days, every large city would have these kind of fortress walls outside. And if you wanted to visit the city, you couldn't just drive on the motorway, that city, you'd have to actually come to one of the main entrances for the city. And the main reason was was to stop it being attacked by other armies and other cities. So this is the Masjid Al-Aqsa compound. It's not just that golden dome, it's actually a lot larger than that. Okay, let's move on. It also has this very small looking church right next door, and that is called the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. That is actually the most sacred site in Christianity. A lot of people don't know about this. This is where Christians believe Jesus died and he rose from the dead. So this is actually their most sacred site. And it's not that easy to visit it. You have to actually knock on the door of a next door Palestinian guy, and they might let you up onto their roof and have a look at that church from the side. You will find Christian priests from the different denominations, Orthodox Christianity, Catholicism, they're all in there kind of sharing the acts of worship and the rites. But the actual keys to this church is held by a Muslim family to stop the Christian priests fighting with each other over who has the keys and who doesn't have the keys. So this is the most sacred site in Christianity. It's even more sacred than what's known as the Church of Nativity, and that's in Bethlehem. Okay, let's move on. And we've already spoken about this, which is the other side of the Buraq wall. That's known as the Western Wall, and that's the most sacred site in Judaism. So you can now see Islam, Judaism, and Christianity considers Jerusalem very special and very sacred. Let's move on. So why is there so much fighting in Palestine? You would have seen in the news that the Gaza Strip is being almost destroyed completely. Jerusalem is not in the Gaza Strip. Jerusalem is in actually part of West Bank, which is on the other side of Palestine. Palestine has two main territories now, the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. But why is there so much fighting in Palestine? You might think it's because of religion, but that's not really the reason. Muslims, Christians, and Jews have actually lived peacefully in Jerusalem for a very, very long time. Very long time. Actually, since the time of Umar ibn al-Khattab. Now, there have been wars, there have been crusades, but Generally, you'll find they have lived as neighbors. They have celebrated Eid together. They have lived next door to each other. They have respected each other. And every religion has had the ability to worship freely in Jerusalem. So the reasons why there's so much fighting in Palestine are more political and more military than religious. So you shouldn't think, oh, religion always causes fighting, or oh, Muslims, Christians, and Jews can't get on. That's not the reason for the fighting. The reason for the fighting is much more political. Because of the location of Palestine and modern day Israel, it is of very high importance to all the superpowers of the world in controlling that area, especially controlling the Suez Canal, which is the main waterway connecting Asia and Africa and even the Mediterranean, and also controlling that wider Middle East region. So the main reasons why there is so much fighting in Palestine and modern day Israel are actually more political than religious. Now, this man here, put your hand up, your virtual hand up if you've learned about him in school, Nelson Mandela. Put your virtual hand up if you learned about him. So Ustad Akhtar, I can see loads of hands up.
So far, about 12 to 15 hands, maybe more.
Wow.
Now up to 20 almost.
Okay, now Nelson Mandela is a very famous figure. Now, can somebody tell us why Nelson Mandela is so famous? Can somebody, I think you'd have to unmute yourself. So put your hand down unless you know who Nelson Mandela is and you can tell us a bit about him.
Let's ask Abu Bakr. Go ahead, Abu Bakr. Oh, he's not there now. Let's go with Rumaisa. Rumaisa? Rumaisa, accept the prompt to unmute. There you go.
He fought for the black people's right.
Yeah, in which country?
Alabama.
Alabama? That's the first time I heard of Nelson Mandela fighting for the black people of Alabama.
South Africa.
South Africa, yes. I think you got
well done.
But having said that, Rumaisa, there was a lot of racism in Alabama as well, yeah, in the American South. And you're probably thinking of the Black Civil Rights Movement in America, which was Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. So in South Africa, they had a system of government called apartheid, which gave priority and gave special power to the white people of South Africa, and the black and Asian people. It wasn't just the black people, black and Asian people. They were kind of separated out into the poorer parts known as ghettos, and they were not allowed to vote in the elections. They were not given any power. They were not given any influence. They were treated as second-class citizens. So Nelson Mandela, he said something very important, and everyone should know this quote. He said, "We know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians." He spent almost 30 years in jail, but when he came out, he was successful in becoming the new president of South Africa, and for ending apartheid. But even when he ended apartheid, he said, our freedom is not complete until we achieve the freedom of the Palestinians. So in Israel today, you still have a system of apartheid, where if you're Muslim or if you're Christian, Palestinian, you'll be treated as a second-class citizen. You will not be able to travel around. You will have restrictions on your work. You'll have restrictions on your finances. And worst of all, your safety will be under threat from bombs, from jets, from soldiers, from tanks. So this system of government is called an apartheid government, where the citizens do not have equal rights, where depending on your religion, depending on your race, so if you're Jewish, and especially if you're white Jewish, then you are given priority over everyone else. Now, Nelson Mandela fought against that, and he actually spoke about Palestine himself. Okay, Ustad Akhtar, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Now, I really want to emphasize how much people have lived peacefully in Jerusalem, respected each other, and worshipped right next door to each other in that small area. So this is the Treaty of Umar radiallahu anhu. So Umar radiallahu an, the second Khalifa of Islam, he was invited by the Patriarch of Jerusalem, the main priest of Jerusalem, to come to Jerusalem, and he was given the keys to Jerusalem without any fighting. The companions of the Prophet ﷺ had surrounded Jerusalem. Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah was there, Khalid bin Walid was there, but the Patriarch of Jerusalem, the religious leader of Jerusalem, he did not want any fighting, and he asked for Umar, because they had in their religious books a man described like Umar. So Umar radiallahu anh, he came on his donkey with his servant, and he came with his thobe full of rips and rags and patches. And as he came to Jerusalem, he was given the keys to Jerusalem, and the Muslims took control of Jerusalem, and they liberated Jerusalem from the Romans who used to rule there, and they had treated the people very badly. And they had actually turned Masjid Al-Aqsa into almost like a rubbish dump. And he cleaned Masjid Al-Aqsa with the other companions with his own hands. Now, this agreement which he wrote is known as the Treaty of Umar, and it's actually an agreement where he promises safety to the Jews and Christians of Jerusalem, and promises not to destroy their places of worship or not to treat them badly. Okay, let's move on. Okay, do you recognize who this is? Anybody got any ideas? Maybe you can use the chat facility.
Yeah, type your answer in the chat. Who is this person? Who do you see on your screen?
Oh, mashallah, mashallah. Julius Caesar. Oh, this is worse than Alabama. This is not Julius Caesar. Okay, this is not Julius Caesar. This is Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. Okay, Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. Now, he was a general in the Muslim army during the Crusades. The Crusades were a very terrible part of history, where European armies came over to Jerusalem, and they killed so many people in Jerusalem. They massacred so many people. But before even reaching Jerusalem, they killed and massacred so many Christians in Constantinople, in Hagia Sophia, this area. So they really kind of went around the world just massacring people, destroying religious places, stealing the religious relics because they were very, very precious. So this was a general from the Muslim army whose name was Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, and he defeated the Crusaders, and he forgave everyone. He forgave the Christians. He allowed them to live peacefully. So Jerusalem is a very cultured place, different religions, different people of different backgrounds. And it's not the religion which causes the fighting. It's the actual politics and the apartheid system which causes the fighting. Okay, Ustad Akhtar, shall we move on?
Yep. Oh, what's happened here?
Okay, there we go. And that's the end of the presentation. So the last thing we wanted to really emphasize is the appeal which Al-Noor is running with Islamic Relief. Now, Islamic Relief is one of the biggest Muslim charities. It's actually a charity which is recommended by the government as part of the Disaster Emergency Committee, DEC, along with the British Red Cross and other very large global charities. So it's a charity you can trust. Now, Al-Noor will be running an appeal to donate to Gaza. So please do contribute to that appeal. Try and encourage your parents to do so. We see the terrible scenes that on our TV screens, and we want to do something to help the people of Gaza also. So, Ustad Akhtar, would you like to say something about that, or shall we move?
Yeah, I've sent a text message in the chat box for parents. Please do have a look at that, and in the name of your children, maybe do something that can really make a difference and provide some help. Currently, we are still able to get help and relief and funds into that region, although the door is closing very rapidly. So please make a concerted effort to do as much as you can today to really make a difference to the lives of our brothers and sisters there and the children there, amongst the devastation that they're seeing.
Okay, Ustad Akhtar, I think it's time for the quiz. Are you ready?
It is, everybody. It's time for the quiz. Let's see your trigger finger ready. Let's see your fingers ready to push those buttons and answer those questions. Okay, let's have a look now at giving you some questions. Hope you've been paying attention to some of the questions or the topics that we've been talking about today. And here we go. Here's the first question. So the first question is, which of the following statements is true? Is it A, Masjid Al-Aqsa is in the old city of Jerusalem? B, Masjid Al-Aqsa is in East Jerusalem? Number C, letter C, Masjid Al-Aqsa is not part of Israel, or is it all of the above? D. So A, B, C, or D. Those of you on YouTube, you can type in the chat box. A, Masjid Al-Aqsa is part of the old city of Jerusalem. B, Masjid Al-Aqsa is in East Jerusalem. C, Masjid Al-Aqsa is not part of Israel. And D, all of the above. A, B, C, or D. Have a look, inshallah. See which ones you want to put an answer to. Had about maybe half of you reply. So I'll give you another 10 seconds. So I'll give you another 30 seconds, everybody. If you don't know, just put an answer through, inshallah. And let's see what you guys have put forward. Those of you on YouTube, you can type in your answer in the chat box. So Ustad, let's have a look, and we split the audience.
We have, and it's one of the rare times where the minority have got the correct answer. But I guess you could argue that everyone's got the right answer, because the correct answer is D, all of the above. Masjid Al-Aqsa is in the old city of Jerusalem. It's also in East Jerusalem. It is absolutely not part of Israel. That is according to international law. It has a special status under international law. So all of the above are correct. Well done to the 37% who got that one right. But I guess the others, you kind of got it right as well, because all of the statements were true.
That's right, you got it, but it's really well done for all of you getting the answer right, mashallah. Let's go to question number 2. Which of the following are parts of Masjid Al-Aqsa? Is it A, the Dome of the Rock, B, Masjid Qibli, C, Masjid Marwan, D, the Buraq Wall, or E, all of the above? So I think everybody's learned not to answer straight away without reading all of the options. So is it A, Dome of the Rock, B, Masjid Qibli, C, Masjid Marwan, D, the Buraq Wall, or E, all of the above? Well done to those on YouTube who got the answer right in the last question as well, mashallah. And we'll give you another 4 seconds, everybody. 3, 2, 1, and let's have a look at the results. And here we go, Ustad.
MashaAllah, that's excellent, MashaAllah. So the correct answer is the majority, who said all of the above. All of these are part of Masjid Al-Aqsa, Qubbat al-Sakhra, Dome of the Rock, Masjid Qibli, Masjid Marwan, the Buraq Wall. These are all some of the main parts of Masjid Al-Aqsa. So well done to those 65% who got that right. And I guess same answer to the rest of you. You were partly right if you chose one of the other options.
Yeah, well done to those 34 who got that answer correct, mashallah. Excellent. Let's go to the third question for today, and that is, what is the most sacred Christian site in Jerusalem? Is it the Church of the Holy Sepulchre? I don't know how to say that word, so I'm just going to pretend I said it. And then B, the Sepulchre, that's exactly what I said. Or B, the Vatican, or C, St. Paul's Cathedral, or D, the Church of Nativity, which is in Bethlehem. Which one of these is the most sacred Christian sites in Jerusalem? A, the Church of you-know-what, B, the Vatican, C, St. Paul's Cathedral, or D, the Church of Nativity in Bethlehem. We've had around more than half of you answer. We're going to give you another 3 seconds to quickly put your answer down. If you don't know, just put any answer forward, and we'll have you have a look at the results now. Here we go. And here's the results to start.
MashaAllah. The correct answer, 79%. Some tough questions today. Is Church of the Holy Sepulchre. The Vatican is in Rome. That's where the Pope lives. So that's in Italy. That can't be the right answer. St. Paul's Cathedral is in London. There's always going to be someone who chooses London as the answer. That's not right. The Church of Nativity in Bethlehem. We did not have a picture of that church. That's a very important site in Christianity as well. But that's not the correct answer. The correct answer is A. Well done to the 79%.
MashaAllah, very well done, very well done. Let's have a look at the fourth question for today. Get ready, everybody. And here we go. What is the meaning of Al-Aqsa? Is it A, the greatest mosque, B, the nearest mosque, C, the oldest mosque, or D, the farthest mosque? Okay, this is a tough one. What is the name of Masjid Al-Aqsa? Is it A, the greatest mosque, B, the nearest mosque, C, the oldest mosque, or D, the farthest mosque? Those of you on YouTube as well, well done for getting the last answer right. MashaAllah, very, very well done. And have a look at your answer for this one. A, the greatest mosque, B, the nearest mosque, C, the oldest mosque, or D, the furthest mosque. What is the meaning of Masjid Al-Aqsa? We're going to give you another 3 seconds to put your answer forward. Have a look, take a guess if you're not sure. Always give it a go, always try. Okay, let's have a look at your answers, everybody. And we've split the audience once again, Ustad.
Yes, so the meaning of Al-Aqsa, now I may not have actually explained this, so that might explain so many people didn't get it wrong, didn't get it right. It actually means the farthest mosque, Aqsa. Aqsa means furthest away. So Layth, who recited in the beginning, he recited سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الأقصى الذي من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله. From the blessed be Allah who took his servant, his abd, from Masjid al-Haram to the furthest mosque, Masjid al-Aqsa. So that is the meaning, and only 15% got that right. So well done for those of you who got it right, because it shows your general knowledge is very, very good. Mashallah. It doesn't mean the greatest mosque. That is, of course, the Kaaba. It doesn't mean the nearest mosque. That is implied to be Masjid Nabawi, the mosque of the Prophet. And it's not the oldest mosque. That's the Kaaba, but it's the farthest mosque. So Ustad Akhtar, after years of trying, I think we finally caught them out on a question.
Well done, we got you finally. But don't worry, you got your time to redeem yourself. Let's have a look at the final question for today. What can you do to support Masjid Al-Aqsa? Can you learn about its importance and teach it to others? Can you pray in Masjid Al-Aqsa? Can you donate to Masjid Al-Aqsa? Or D, can you do all of the above? So how can you make a difference and support Masjid Al-Aqsa? A, learn about its importance and teach it to others. And you've learned a lot over these 2 days. So a lot to teach your brothers and sisters and your parents and your neighbors. B, pray in Masjid Al-Aqsa. C, donate to Masjid Al-Aqsa. Or D, all of the above. Let's have a look. We'll give you another 3 seconds to put your answer forward. And let's see the results, mashallah. Here we go, Ustad.
Yes, I think they've learned my tricks now. The correct answer is all of the above. You can learn about its importance and teach it to others. You can go with your family to Masjid Al-Aqsa. And actually, if families go, parents, children, even elders, then generally they have a lot less hassle at Tel Aviv airport, because they'll be seen as much less of a threat than if young men go. So going as a family is actually a very good idea. You can donate to Masjid Al-Aqsa. And yesterday we read the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where the Prophet ﷺ advised that if you cannot go there, even send oil for its lamps. And we've got the appeal from Islamic Relief, which we're promoting. Any of these, all of the above will help Masjid Al-Aqsa.
Yeah, excellent. Ustad, can we take 2 or 3 minutes just to see if anybody's got any questions that they want to ask?
Yes, so let's hear your questions.
So raise your virtual hand, inshallah, and then I'll choose a few of you as to any questions that you may have. And I'm going to go straight to Muhammad Ayub because he's got his Palestinian scarf on. So Muhammad Ayub, what's your question?
Assalamu alaikum. No, the Ummah Treaty, is it in like a museum or in the Masjid Al-Aqsa? Where is it?
That's a very good question, and you might be surprised by the answer. It's actually in one of the Sephardic Jewish museums. So you can actually, I'm not sure, I'm not 100% sure if Muslims can see it now, the original. I'm not 100% sure. That might be something we can look up even while you guys are here. But you certainly see pictures of it, and a version of it, or the original. I'm not sure if it's the original or one of the oldest versions or one of the translations. It's in the Sephardic Jewish Museum. So you can still see it, yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, next question.
Okay, let's go to the amazing Zahra. Go ahead, Zahra. What's your question, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alex.
When Umar ibn Khattab went to Masjid Al-Aqsa, what was on top of the rock that was inside Masjid Al-Aqsa?
Amazing question.
Yeah, so you know when Umar ibn Khattab came to Jerusalem, they were not treating that area where Masjid Al-Aqsa is as very special at all. It was actually a dumping ground. So they had dumped rubbish there. We don't actually know exactly what it looked like because it wasn't treated as a special place. So, you know, I don't think we have any drawings or images of what it looked like. But the fact that they used it for horses, the Romans, and the fact that it was used as a dumping ground shows there's like nothing there. No special buildings, nothing. It had kind of become, it had been destroyed as well by the Romans who were persecuting and attacking and killing the Jewish people who were living there as well. So by that time, it had no special importance, and it did not look special. It was just a dumping ground.
Yeah, excellent question, Zahra. MashaAllah, very good. Jazakallah khair. Let's hear from Jawad. Jawad, accept the prompt to unmute, please.
Is the khutbah on Jum'ah in Arabic or English?
Okay, good question. Khutbah will be in Arabic because it's an Arabic country, right? Palestine. So it's only in our countries, really, in England, in the UK, where you'll find English khutbahs. If you go throughout the Muslim world, you'll generally find the khutbah is in Arabic or the language of that country. So if you, for example, go to Istanbul, the khutbah will be in Arabic and some Turkish as well. If you go to Bosnia, it will be in Arabic and Bosnian. But the khutbah, only in the UK, it's in English.
Okay, great. Let's hear from Abu Bakr. Go ahead, Abu Bakr.
Do you know why it's called the Moroccan Moor? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Layan, she actually gave us the answer yesterday. So Bab al-Maghribi, the Moroccan gate, that used to be adjacent to a neighborhood called the Maghribi Quarter, the Maghribi Quarter. And when Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, she did actually mention this yesterday, when Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, he liberated Jerusalem, he brought a number of people from Morocco. Al-Maghrib is the Arabic name for Morocco, and they settled in that area. Now, after the 1967 war between a number of the Arab countries and Israel, Israel won that war and they took over that area, and they completely destroyed the mayor of West Jerusalem. He completely destroyed the Maghribi Quarter, and he kind of increased the access to the Western Wall for Jewish worshippers. So this was an ancient community, a historic area that was completely destroyed, but that gate is still there, which is called the Maghribi Gate. Now, there was another question. Somebody asked about the Golden Gate. Do you remember that? I had to look that up. This is known as Bab al-Dhahabi, the Golden Gate. This is actually was a very good question. I didn't know this. This is the gate through which Isa alayhi salam used to come. It is believed that he used to come through this gate, which is close. This was the only gate on the eastern side of the Al-Aqsa compound, and it is the gate which leads from the Mount of Olives. So in Christianity, this is a very important area, the Mount of Olives. This is where Isa alayhi salam is believed to have given his sermon. And Isa alayhi salam used to enter Masjid Al-Aqsa from that gate. Also for the Jewish community, people who follow the Jewish religion, they believe the Messiah, because obviously they don't believe that Jesus was a prophet. They believe the Messiah will come through that gate. So that gate is a very important gate. It's a very good question. It's known as Bab al-Dhahabi, the Golden Gate, and it is sealed off. So currently sealed off. Nobody can use it. Nobody can go through it.
Okay, Ustad, we've got 4 more people with their hands up, so we're going to ask you to keep your answer a little bit shorter. Let's hear from Fahim. Go ahead, Fahim. Oh, you're on. Hold on. Right now.
So basically, you know, Salahuddin, was he like, what position was he, like the second greatest fighter in Islam, or like what position was he?
Okay, so Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, he's actually of Kurdish background, okay, which is kind of currently in Iraq, and he was a general in the army, and he led the Muslim army. So he's one of the greatest kind of Muslim personalities in Islamic history, and he's very, very famous not only because he was a very brave and skilled warrior, but he was very honorable in the way he dealt with people. So even his enemies who used to fight, he used to deal with them in a very honorable way. So that's why even in his time, even people of Christian background and European background, they used to really respect him.
Has he ever met the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Of course not. How can he meet the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He was hundreds of years after the Prophet.
He was in the time of.
Oh, sorry, no, he was not in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He came many, many centuries after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Okay, let's hear from Areen. Areen, go ahead, accept the prompt.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu
alaikum.
Is
it compulsory to visit Masjid Al-Aqsa?
What an excellent question. Is it compulsory to visit Masjid Al-Aqsa? No, it's not compulsory to visit Masjid Al-Aqsa. It is compulsory to make Hajj and visit Mecca and the Kaaba if you are able to do so, if you have the money and the health. It's not compulsory to visit Masjid Al-Aqsa, but it is very, very, very important to visit Masjid Al-Aqsa, especially for people from the UK, Europeans, Americans, Canadians, because our nationality and our passport means that it's a little bit easier for us to visit, okay? People, for example, who have a Pakistani passport or maybe have a Saudi Arabian passport, it's a little bit more difficult for them. So we have an added responsibility to make sure we visit. Excellent question, mashallah.
Very good question. Let's hear from Hannah. Hannah, go ahead, accept the prompt to unmute.
When is the next lesson?
Very good question.
We'd like to hear that question. The next lesson will be in December, inshallah. So look.
Yeah, it'll be in December, inshallah. It will be in December, and we'll put out an advertisement so that you can all join, inshallah. And those parents, if you're not on our mailing list, go to our contacts page on our Al-Noor website, alnoor.co.uk. Subscribe to the page, so you to our mailing list, so you can get updates, inshallah. Let's hear from a couple of more people. Abdullah, go ahead, accept the prompt to unmute. Go ahead, Abdullah. Can't hear you, Abdullah, if you're speaking. Okay, not sure if you've got a mic issue. And let's go to our scholar, Layan. Layan.
I was going to ask if you can send in the chat the YouTube, the channel like link.
Ah, that's a good point. Yeah, so the Al-Noor YouTube page. Let me do that now, and whilst I'm doing that, then Ustad Sahal, well, you can go to all of the Quran story times are on our website, so maybe that's a better place to go to. And on there, you'll find all of the previous story times that we've done as well. So I'll put that in the chat, because then sometimes we don't like our kids going to YouTube because of the adverts and everything, but you'll find all of the previous Quran story times there. And the ones that we've done yesterday and today, they'll be uploaded in the next day or two, and you can find them on YouTube. Excellent, Leanne. Great to have you here. Thank you. Ustad, Jazakumullah khair. Thank you for your participation over these couple of days, inshallah. And now one of our favorite parts where we get to hear everybody say their salams. So, assalamu alaikum, everybody. Come up, please. Take care, everyone. Take care, everyone. Well done, everyone. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, look at Zayd and Laith. Whoa.
Barakallahu feekum.
But Baba say something.